Bills Roundup, presented by ECMC. ECMC, the difference between healthcare and true care.
Week 3 of OTA practices, and it looks like the quarterback competition is going to last a while. Chris Brown along with John Murphy. And Murph, I don't think any of us thought we'd see any kind of early separation between these three quarterbacks this early in the game, but head coach Rex Ryan made it clear his decision is going to take a while.
Yeah, well, you've got the three new quarterbacks going into a new offense, so that's a little bit different. That means there's a learning curve for all three of them. And think about this. You throw in the fact that they're up against really a top 5 NFL defense every day here in practice with a lot of different exotic looks, and you can understand why Buffalo's head coach is going to take his time before he announces his quarterback decision.
I don't think we're going to see anything in the next few days, through the mandatory camp that'll say, hey, this guy's clearly our starter and all that. That's not going to happen. We're going to keep that competition going and at least give guys opportunities when it's tackle football. But as far as being feeling good, I feel good. I feel great about this team. Not just the quarterback position. I think there's going to be competition there. I think we have competent players at that position. But, for us to say, well, this guy's a starter and all that, that's not going to happen.
One thing we have seen on the field is a lot of pre-snap movement on Buffalo's offense, with a lot of the skill position players lining up in several different places from one series to the next. Charles Clay says it's all according to offensive coordinator Greg Roman's design.
He does a real good job of moving guys around, and I can't even think of a position where I'm lined up there more than the other. Like he does a good job of moving guys around, but I can't even just say that about myself. I'm sure if you ask these receivers, they'll tell you the same thing. They move around, and they're moving around just as much as I am.
We're moving around a lot more, which is great. I think it allows us to get open, and it puts us in a better position. Defense just can't line up and not be able to move and just stay in that defense. Us moving around kind of allows us to see what they're doing.
Well, the Bills coaches have cautioned more than once that in this OTA session, it is not real football. They look forward to having real pads on these players moving into training camp. But we asked head coach Rex Ryan for the name of any player, one player who has particularly impressed him this spring.
I think Powell's the one that jumps out to me on defense. He had 4 interceptions, through these camps. And you can ignore it if you want, but he makes plays, and he's smart. I know the history. I guess he was a former quarterback, and then bounced around outside linebacker, defensive end, all this type of stuff. But he seems to have found a home at inside linebacker, and I've been really happy with him.
Well, Murph, Coach Ryan has said there are several players who look great in helmets and shorts, but then they're unable to carry that play into training camp when the pads go on. He seems keenly interested in about a handful of players that have caught his eye to see if they can pull that off and maintain their level of play in August.
Yeah, and that's really where we are. Just keep an eye on some of these guys moving forward, including the aforementioned Ty Powell, who, according to Rex Ryan, has found a home at inside linebacker. He also mentioned Marquise Gray, the former college quarterback turned tight end. They know he can contribute in the passing game. Seems to be a pretty good pass catcher. They're not quite sure what kind of a blocker he'll be. That will have to wait until the pads come on. Of course, they love the rookie guard John Miller. They've talked about him several times, and they also had good things to say about third-year nickel cornerback Nikel Roby.
Some notables not in attendance here at Wednesday's OTA session were Boobie Dixon, Percy Harvin, Shawntrell Henderson, and Leotis McKelvin. Mandatory minicamp starts next week on Tuesday. For John Murphy, I'm Chris Brown for Bills Roundup, presented by ECMC.